Judge, do we need our clients on this or no?
Yeah, I would prefer them because we can do, yeah, I prefer it, but of course if they can't or if.
Judge, do we need our clients on this or no?
Yeah, I would prefer them.
There it is.
Because we can do.
That was a reverb back.
Ah, oh, I see.
It does that just until I get back on. Okay, everybody. We're good. Mr. Rick, we're still waiting for Miss Becky, right? Miss Becky's not on.
Yeah, I don't see her.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Judge Bonnie Rangel. I'm the judge of the 171st Judicial District Court. It is my honor and pleasure, of course, to preside. It is 6/25/2020, 1:03 p.m. We are in the midst, obviously, of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Texas Supreme Court has allowed us to hold hearings via Zoom. Everybody, please mute via Zoom and YouTube Live. If there is anyone out there participating that objects to this process or objects to the limitations of this process, can you please verbalize your objection right now? Let the record reflect that there are no objections. I want to inform everybody participating in this hearing that Anita Garza, my court reporter, is participating, as well as Mr. Rick Salazar, my bailiff, and we're patiently waiting Miss Rebecca Gonzalez, who I hope will join us shortly. She's the court coordinator. Here comes Mr. Artemio Lopez. Okay, with that being said, I want everybody to know that you cannot record these proceedings, either if you're watching on YouTube Live or if you are participating in this Zoom hearing. The only the only recording or the official recording of this court is the court reporter's record, obviously. If anybody does record, they could be held in contempt of court. We are on YouTube Live to comply with the Texas Open Courts provision. Lastly, if anybody wants to utilize the chat option on the bottom or the breakout rooms, just let me know. On your options bar at the bottom, I'll be more than happy to give you permission. Once again, is there anybody here that does not understand the instructions or objects to proceeding via Zoom and YouTube Live? Very well. Let the record reflect that there are. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. You're okay, Mr. Olivas? You don't object to anything, do you, Mr. Olivas?
No, no.
You're good. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Rick, somebody iPhone de Patricia I'm going to allow in, okay?
Okay, I'll keep an eye.
iPhone de Patricia. Can you send out a text to Miss Becky and make sure Miss Becky is okay, Mr. Rick, please? Okay.
Can you check your phone, please?
I'm sorry?
Your cell phone?
Yes.
Judge, the iPhone de Patricia, that's probably my client. I didn't know if she needed to be in or not, so I said to try to call in.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay. You think it's your client, Mr. Gonzalez?
Correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Rick, can you see who the Patricia is? Let's see. Ma'am, I'm going to ask her to unmute just to make sure. iPhone de Patricia, can you talk to me? Good afternoon.
Sí.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Bien, gracias.
No video, Judge.
I know there's no video.
Judge,
Yes,
this is Robert Harris, and I was supposed to have on this program with two clients, but you have not called my name.
Okay, sir. Okay, let's see if your clients I'll come in a little bit late. Okay, Mr. Harris, we'll just wait patiently.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. iPhone de Patricia. What is your last name, Patricia? ¿Qué es su apellido, Patricia? Ontiveros. Is that your client, Mr. Mario Gonzalez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, gracias por venir. How do you say mute in Spanish, somebody? It sounds rude. Múdese.
Mudo.
Okay, but if you tell somebody to mute, múdese.
Ponerlo en mudo.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Salazar, for the Spanish lesson. Señorita there, she did it. She did it. Okay. Okay. We're good. Now, the first one is Ben Bani Kofi Atta, 2017-4825. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the stage, Your Honor. Stage is ready.
Jim Darnell for Mr. Benbani. We're ready, Your Honor.
Mr. Bembadi, can you say good afternoon, sir? Where are you? You're here.
He's on, Judge, he is on mute.
Can you unmute, Mr.?
Let me see. Can you hear me?
There you go, sir. Very good, sir. Do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. Darnell, as your attorney in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Darnell, do you see and recognize Mr. Bembani as
I
your
do.
client and the defendant in this case, correct?
I do.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. What, the settlement conference, Mr. Nunez, what do we have to offer Mr. Bembani? Please.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. The former rec, before I get into the new one, was 2 years deferred on a terroristic threat, which is a Class B misdemeanor, anger management, a $200 fine, 100 hours of community service, UABA, curfew, and that was it, Your Honor.
Okay, so and that
now-
rec still stands, or are you changing it?
I am changing it, Your Honor. It'll be 1 year of deferred probation, no fine, no community service, anger management, UABA, curfew, and we would just ask for no early termination, Your Honor.
Okay, okay. Mr. Darnell, that kind of sounds like a sweet deal. What are you thinking?
Well, except he didn't do it.
Okay, okay, then it's not a sweet deal.
But I will speak to Mr. Benbani about that. Mr. Nunez and I had spoken earlier today, and we will keep talking to see if we can get it solved.
Do you think, sir, that we should have one more settlement conference? You think it would be fruitful? Because I don't want to be wasting your time. If you didn't do it, you're not guilty, you want a jury trial. I respect that. Do you think, however, one more settlement conference to try to hash it out will help or not?
Let's try one more.
One more, you got it. You got it. I think the numbers are good. I mean, it's from 2 to 1, that's pretty good, right? Okay, we'll have one more 30 days. I'm sorry?
Ma'am, I want to ask Mr. Donnell.
Wait, you and I can talk later.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, okay. So we'll do one more settlement conference in 30 days. Mr. Bombani, thank you for participating. I appreciate it. Mr. Darnell, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
And Mr. Nunez, anything else?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. You may be excused. Becky will send you notice. Thank you.
Okey-doke.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Judge, the next two are co-defendants.
Okay, let's call both of them at the same time. 2018-0690. Mr. McGlashan is in here, right?
Yes, Mr. McGlashan's there.
Present and accounted for, Judge.
Good. 2018-693, the State of Texas, Bridget Granados Ontiveros. And 2018-694, Patricia Ontiveros. Announcement of council, please.
Your Honor, it's Aaron Sella for the state, and I am ready, Judge.
Your Honor, Mario, go ahead.
Sorry, Mario. William McGlash on behalf of Bridget Granados, Your Honor, ready to proceed. Although I think my client just disappeared. I don't know why, but.
Okay, we'll try to, maybe she'll get back. And you, Mr. Gonzalez?
Mario Gonzalez for Patricia Ontiveros, Your Honor, ready for them.
Okay. Ms. Ontiveros, can you talk to me?
Hello?
Ms. Ontiveros, let me get, hang on a second, you guys. Let me get.
She's the iPhone.
No, but I'm trying to get Kofi. I'm trying to get Kofi off first, Rick. He's talking. That's what I'm trying to do first. He needs to be off. Okay, so Kofi is off. Okay, Patricia Ontiveros. Patricia, iPhone de Patricia Ontiveros. Can you unmute? ¿Se puede? ¿Puede hablar, por favor? I don't know.
Sí.
Ok, señora, platique un poquito.
Sí.
Okay, you see the, okay, Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes, Your Honor.
want to identify that C as the client and the defendant in this case for purposes of this hearing?
Yes, Your Honor. For purposes of this hearing, I recognize the voice being of
Okay.
Patricia Ontiveros, my client.
Okay, and I have to ask her, Mr. Rick, will you translate for her? I don't know if I should translate. Will you ask Patricia Ontiveros if you can see her attorney on the phone?
Señor Ontiveros, ¿sí ve su abogado en su
Sí,
teléfono?
sí, sí lo estoy viendo. Es que se
Yeah,
me
she
corta
said I
un
am looking at him.
poquito la voz.
Okay, let the record reflect that both have recognized each other in that case. Bridget Granados Ontiveros, are you present?
Yes, I'm right here.
Very well. Do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Very well. And Mr. McLaughlin, do you recognize Ms. Granados Ontiveros as your client and the defendant in this case?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, let the record reflect that everybody's recognized everybody. Mr. Nunez, give us a deal that they can't refuse.
Your Honor, they're my
Oh, I'm
cases.
sorry, Mr. Setliff. I keep forgetting it's you when it's you. I'm sorry.
So, Your Honor, I have inherited these cases. I believe that Dave McCracken, my previous chief that has moved on to another office, was working on them. And so I inherited them. I've reviewed the case. I reviewed Bridget Granados Ontiveros' case, which is 2018-0D-00693. He had previously extended an offer of 5 deferred, which is a very generous offer. I think these are first degree felonies with the amounts that are in question. I've reviewed the other one with Patricia Ontiveros, and I do not see a previous rec in there that makes sense with all the facts and circumstances. So,
Okay, hang on. Mr. Mario Gonzalez, did you get a rec from Mr. McCracken?
Your Honor, we were negotiating what we could or could not do. And if I don't know if the court will recall, we had an issue where we were trying to get Mexican documents to show exactly how the money trail went that I thought were highly exculpatory of my client. And then everything sort of the world has sort of come to a stop.
Crashed and burned.
Yeah, so at least when those documents were, we were going to get back together and go through that, and then I was going to have an offer made. And so, but well, we are where we're at.
Right. Okay. Mr. Sedlev, are you prepared to make an offer now, or we can reset this?
Your Honor, I apologize. I am willing to make an offer in the, I would be willing to honor the 5 deferred for Bridget Granados, but the other one I'm not prepared for. So I wonder if I could get back to, I think that's Bill McLaughlin's case.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Judge, mine was the 5 deferred rec, and that has been on the table since the beginning. My conversations with Mr. McCracken is that the other case was going to happen first, and whatever happened based upon that, he was considering dismissing my case because of the factors that I've explained to him in the past. I don't mind discussing it again with Mr. Setliff now, but that was my understanding, is that we were waiting for the other case to be finished, and then we were going to deal with mine. And if the court would look at its docket, I guarantee you that's what it says.
That's what it said. Mr. Castañeda, can you look at McLaughlin's client's file?
Yes, Judge.
And see what does it say? Then Ms. Ontiveros is going to go first. Patricia?
I'm sorry, Judge, you broke up.
Oh, no. We're getting some feedback. We're getting feedback, and I'm trying to eat my protein shake, my lunch, because I didn't have a lunch.
I don't have any reason to doubt that we were looking to resolve Patricia's case first, and then that would help govern Bridget's. I don't know all the way to a dismissal.
It does say that, Judge.
Sorry, I don't think that Bill's misrepresenting at all, but it would take some review of what's going on,
Right.
including what Mario's talking about.
Okay, so I think what we're gonna do then, Mr. McLaughlin, is let you off the hook for a bit. I won't set you up for anything for a while. We're gonna focus on Patricia Ontiveros's case, get a recommendation, see what she says about it, right? If she doesn't accept anything, then everybody's on the trial track and God knows when we're gonna try these two cases, okay?
Okie doke.
So we'll proceed that way, okay, everybody? So I invite Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Setliff to get together. Mr. McLaughlin, you can give Mr. Setliff whatever facts and whatever else you think he needs to help him in this case, because he's kind of taken over. I think we'll just handle it that way, okay? And we're gonna
Thank you,
set
Your
up
Honor.
another settlement conference for Patricia only Ontiveros in about 30 days. Mr. Setliff, you think that's enough for you to get involved?
Definitely, Judge. And I'm sorry for not being a little bit more on it on this case.
No worries. No worries at all. Everybody's busy and scrambling, so no worries. Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. McLaughlin, anything else?
And nothing from us, Your Honor.
Okay.
Nothing
Mr.
further from
Ontiveros.
us, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Have a
Ontiveros.
great day.
Ms. Granados Ontiveros, you may leave as well. Thank you very much.
I'll see you at 2, Judge.
Thank you. Yes, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Rich, Becky, I'm letting an Adam Celso in. Is he a defendant?
Judge?
He is, okay, he's getting in. Then Moto E5 Play is getting in again, Mr. Rick, okay?
Yes, that's Mr. Bombara's guy.
Okay. The next
Thank you, Your
one
Honor.
is, thank you. Jaime Olivas, it's Charles Smith, 2018-2967, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Jaime Olivas for David Smith. We're ready, Judge.
For Charles Smith. Is it
For
Charles
Smith,
H.
yes,
Smith?
Judge.
Charles
Yes.
H. Smith,
Yes,
yes, I
Judge.
just want to make sure. Okay, and Mr. Smith is not he is participating. Mr. Smith, where are you, sir? Talk to me.
Here.
Talk to me. There you go, Mr. Smith. How are you today?
Outstanding. How are you, Your Honor?
I'm not outstanding, but I'm doing pretty good.
Good, good.
Mr. Smith, do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. Olivas, on the screen?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Very good. And Mr. Olivas, do you see and recognize Mr. Smith as your client and the defendant in this case?
Yes, Judge.
Let the record reflect that both have identified each other. Okay, Mr. Nunez. What's
Yes,
the
Your Honor.
offer in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer on this case, I believe, was 2 years deferred probation, anger management, and no contact with the CW or his ex-wife, which is also involved as well. And then a UABA as well as a curfew, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Olivas, what are you thinking about that offer?
Judge, my client is head of security at Texas Tech. Any kind of a plea will subject him to losing his employment. And more importantly, Judge, this is basically a property dispute that turned into a criminal collection process. Judge, the complaining witness was denied the protective order on this same incident. She lied in her affidavit as to her whereabouts, her place, her residency, I'm sorry. And there's some other issues involved. Basically, the ex-wife is the one that's driving this boat. And at this point, I don't see any resolution. I do have a new date, Mr. Smith, for the settlement of the sale of the house, which is for August 13th. So if we could have a date after that, Judge, perhaps. I won't promise anything because
Right.
it's an exceedingly difficult ex-wife.
Okay. Wow. Okay, Mr. Nunez.
Your Honor, I would also suggest that maybe we could just do a bench trial and do it that way.
What about a bench trial, Mr. Olivas? What do you think about that?
I don't know. Can I discuss that with my client, Judge? And if you give us another one of these here?
Absolutely. That's one quicker way, right? That's one quicker way to resolve this, okay?
I will be honest with you. I don't know that you want to hear from the complaining witnesses because they're crazy, Judge.
You know, let me tell you, I think after 20 years in private practice, 20 years on the bench, we've heard everything, right? I think I've heard everything.
That's
I've
true.
heard everything. So I'm willing,
Anyway, Judge.
That's a quicker resolution for your client. And so if he's willing to go that route, I'm willing to hear whatever has to be heard. Okay?
That'll work. If we could get another status after August 13th, because that's supposed to be the hearing.
Perfect. Perfect. We'll go ahead and do that. Let's set it up after August when? 13th, you said, because you broke up. After when?
Yes,
August 13th? You broke up again. I can't hear you.
Yes, August 13th, Judge.
Okay.
Afterwards.
Got it. We'll do a settlement conference after August 13th, okay? You guys work on this and see what you need to do, okay? You'll get a hearing from Ms. Becky. Thank you. You may be excused. Have a great day.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. We'll see you all. Mr. Smith, thank you for participating. You may be excused.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Yes, you too, sir.
Thank you, Charles. I'll give you.
Thank you, sir. The next one is Jefferson. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's Ekichuku.
Ekichuko. Very good. At this time, cause number 2018-5072, Jefferson Ekichuko. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the station honor. Stage is ready.
Heather Hall for Mr. Echicuco, and we're here ready, Judge.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Hall. Mr. Ekichuko, talk to me again, sir. I don't remember your participating video. Where are you? Mr. Ekichuko, talk to me. There you go.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, very good. Do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen?
Yes.
Very good. And Ms. Hall, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case, Ms. Hall?
I do, Judge.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Mr. Nunez, what's going on in this case?
Your Honor, it appears we are waiting for some lab results in term for this case as evidence, and then but the recommendation is 5 TDC on both counts.
And
yes, ma'am. Talk to me, Ms. Hall.
Judge, the original DNA was submitted to DPS in 2018. There was a second request in 2019, and the state still does not have it back.
Mr. Nunez, why was there a second request?
You know what, Your Honor? I am not familiar with this case, to be completely honest, Your Honor. This is one case that I've not dealt with. So I'd have to go and look at the notes right now.
That's correct, Judge. I've been dealing with Ivan on this. I don't know if is he still in this court or?
Yeah, he is. He is. Unfortunately, he's not here right now. No.
Okay.
But yeah, he generally is. Ms. Hall, this is one where I think we're going to get Mr. Martinez has to participate. You know, these are a little bit, you know, more complicated cases. If it was just a burglary of a hab or a possession, you know, you could pitch hit. But I think I want Mr. Martinez to participate, especially since Ms. Hall has said that she has spoken, you know, at length with Mr. Martinez.
And Your Honor,
go ahead.
If I may, can I go on portal right now? There is another lab
Mr.
report.
Martinez, hang on a second, Mr. Nunez. I missed your whole speech. Start again.
Yes, Your Honor. When I go on portal, there are 2 lab reports. There's one from November 29th of 2018. That's when it was uploaded, and another one that was uploaded in May 30th of 2019. And I meant, when I said November 29th, I don't know if I said it, but it's 2018. And then another one in May 30th, 2019. I don't know if I got the years right.
We're not contesting that the state hasn't submitted it. We're just wondering.
Why?
Your Honor,
why?
But I'm saying the results look, I mean, the report looks like it's complete. It's DNA extract, this DNA profile. It says who it originated from, and it also states the defendant is excluded as a contributor of this profile for some of these sections. So, like I said, this appears to be. I don't know if there was another one that was submitted, Your Honor, or I don't know if there was another request, but I need to look into that, or maybe Ms. Hall could shed some more light on whether this is.
You're not understanding the question, Mr. Nunez.
The lab report is in, Your Honor.
Okay, so what is it?
I lied, Ms. Hall. I think I have to go to jail for 30 days. I didn't realize, Mr. Martinez, you were on. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why two? The question Ms. Hall is asking, and I'm asking too, is why did you do 2 reports?
Well, various samples were taken, and DNA was found on the samples, but there was no testing at that time to see if those samples could be matched up with I believe the defendant or the complaining witness. So various extracts were tested. So on some of it says right here in the lab report that some of the tests exclude the defendant, and some of the results indicate that it is a combination of the complaining witness and the defendant.
Okay, this is my
So, yeah.
this is my question. Okay, did you do 2 reports because one report tested some specimens, some ran some tests, and then the other report ran other tests and other specimens? Is that what I'm understanding?
No. Okay, it looks like the DNA, the samples were submitted for analysis, and at that time, it was okay. There was the swabs, the vaginal swabs were provided for analysis.
In November 29th of 2018.
That's correct. That's correct.
I'm following.
And they say at that time, a separate report will be issued upon completion of the DNA analysis. So in May of 2019, at the beginning of May, we're like, hey, what's the status on the DNA? And on May 30th, 2019, they submit the second report with the results of the DNA analysis.
It was a continuation of the first, and the first referenced in the future, we're going to be testing this and you'll be getting these results. Okay.
Correct. That's correct. So yeah, we have the second lab result.
Okay, I just pulled that up, Judge, and my concern is it not only is referencing my client, but it's also referencing an unknown individual. And it's not clear on the lab results as I'm reading it. It's stating that it comes from one individual, but then whenever it's compared, they can't exclude him. They're not saying it's him. They can't exclude him, but they say it also includes another someone's DNA. So this is
Your Honor, that's how it is interpreted. So if I could read the entire paragraph for the court.
Hang on, there's some feedback. Is everybody on mute other than Mr.
Sorry,
Martinez?
no.
Hall and no, Mr. Martinez, I don't want you on mute. Or were you the cause of the noise?
I don't believe so, but.
Okay, sir. No. Everybody needs to be on mute except Mr. Martinez, Mr. Nunez, and Ms. Hall, please. Okay. Okay, Mr. Nunez, were you wanting to say something, or Ms. Hall?
I don't feel comfortable litigating this, especially since this is a public forum. If it's okay with you, Judge, I just want the DA to go look at that lab again. I think there's some definite issues. I don't think this case is a 5 TDC case. And then maybe if you would allow us to conference all together, because the last time I was in court, I asked, is the lab back? And I was told no. So this is the first time I've heard about the lab coming back.
Okay, why don't we do this? And you're uncomfortable, and I'm not going to make anybody feel uncomfortable at all. You're telling me that. Let's go ahead, Mr. Martinez, Mr. Nunez, set up Ms. Hall, set up not a telephonic, just set up a Zoom. I'll send invites to everybody. It's like you're in my chambers, and the 3 of us will discuss this case, and you can be a little bit more freer to discuss whatever you want to discuss, Ms. Paul.
And just to be clear, Your Honor, that this second report has been in portal since May of 2019.
We haven't been in court since, because I did not receive any notice from the state that the DNA was back, and we haven't been in court. We were waiting on the DNA. So, okay.
And we wouldn't. I mean, she has, we make it clear to check on the portal from time to time.
Right now, Ivan, what I would like to do is discuss this with you and explain why this is not a prison case. And if you are open to that, then let's do that, just like the judge suggested.
No, I just want to make it clear that it's been in portal since May of 2019.
Okay, next time I would appreciate if you told us that so that I could let my client know, because he's been worried this whole time. Okay, I'm sorry, Judge.
No worries, no worries.
Well, and just a reminder to you that the defense also has a responsibility to check portal from time to time.
Okay, and I did check it today, and I don't agree with what your interpretation of the results are in the last 5 seconds that you looked at it. So there we are.
And that's why I think we need to go ahead and discuss it in chambers. That's going to give me an opportunity, but I'm going to ask, because I don't have access to portal, but I want to have access to both those reports before we meet in chambers, so to speak. Okay. So Mr. Can Ms. Hall send them to me, Mr. Martinez? With your permission, send me what you or will you send them to me, or just somebody send them to everybody?
Well, Judge, I my concern is, Your Honor, I understand you want to resolve this case. You want to be fair to both sides, but I think that if we submit these lab reports to you, and there's not a hearing regarding the results of the lab reports, I'm just concerned that at that point you may become Your Honor, I want you, if this case were to go to trial, I'd want you to be able to listen to the facts of the trial, with a clean slate, rather than having the preconceived notions as to what's in the lab reports if they haven't been admitted before you. Now there's a hearing where the admissibility of the lab reports becomes an issue, of course, at that point. But I think just for you to peruse them ahead of time, I don't know if that would be necessarily proper.
This isn't the first time I perused
I don't
evidence.
object to you
It
looking.
could- I don't, and this isn't the first time that I perused evidence pre-trial. To try to settle a case, I don't think it needs to be a hearing, but okay.
Judge, I'm not necessarily saying no, but I'm just saying, but before I agree to that, I'd like to just look at the reports, again, and look at the report and have a discussion with Ms. Hall. And then at that point, everybody can agree, yes, we'll let the judge take a look at these. But you know what I'm saying, Judge? I just, at this point, it may be a bit premature to just be submitting these reports to you just for you to look at just yet. I'm not saying no necessarily, but I'm just saying we just hold off on that for the time being.
I'm just shocked, Mr. Martinez. I do this all the time. You've submitted documentation. Mr. Nunez submitted me pictures this morning.
Absolutely, Your Honor. Absolutely.
Conference. So it's not unusual for me to say, well, okay, we're having a little issue. Show me what you've got. Show me, show me the Facebook picture. Show me the text. Show me this. Okay. I've done this 1,000 billion times. And now in this particular case, you're okay.
And I'm not saying no, Your Honor. I'm just saying, just give us a chance to talk about it.
Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. You object? Okay, great too. Great too. I'm just shocked. And I can be shocked all I want, because I've been doing this on the bench for 22 years. This is the first time you have said, because you've submitted me evidence pre-trial. Mr. Nunez submitted me evidence pre-trial this morning. I don't understand your objection, but okay, you got it. I won't see it if you don't want me to see it. Okay. Okay, Ms. Hall, good luck. Deal with Mr. Martinez. He's all yours. Deal with Mr. Martinez. Good luck. You need me, great. You don't need me, great. This needs to be set for trial, great. You settled this case, great.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, goodbye. Have a
May I be excused, Judge? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. The next one, Ignacio Moreno, Adolfo Romero, court calls cause number 2018-5185. Ignacio Casares Moreno, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Adolfo Romero for the defendant, defendant's ready, Your Honor.
Very well. Mr. Romero, is your client participating this afternoon?
He is in my office right now, Judge.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Moreno, for clarifying that. Mr. Nunez, what's the agreement for Mr. Romero?
The offer that's on the table, Your Honor, is restitution for dismissal, and I'll have the amount shortly, but I do know it's in the range of about $1,800.
Okay.
18?
I believe, I have to double check. I definitely could be wrong.
I will check it also. And David, if you send me something, he's here, he has the money, Judge.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We can send it to the DA, we can send it to the owner of the company.
If it is 1,800, Mr. Nunez, who does Mr. Romero send that money to so that he can get his dismissal?
I'm pulling up the indictment right now, Judge. I believe it's
What I suggest you do is this. Mr. Nunez emailed, so there's no misunderstanding, emailed Mr. Romero the name and the address of the place that he has to submit about 1,800 to.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And I'll get it, I'll send it out this week, today, tomorrow.
Perfect, perfect. How much is it, Mr. Nunez? Do we know exactly yet?
Not yet, Your Honor. My computer's running really slow right now.
You know what I suggest you do, Mr. Nunez?
What's, Your Honor?
Go to a Starbucks. Your internet is just really bad where you're at. Go to a Starbucks. Go to somewhere where your internet's a little bit better, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
What is it?
Don't have it yet, Your Honor. Twin Cities Recycling, Your Honor, and
that's where he sold the copper.
That's where he sold it to?
That's how they found the copper. It's going to be Big Lake Electric something. It's in Big Lake, Texas. But I'll have the information and I'll communicate with David. Okay. And then he can confirm it whenever he.
You don't have the amount yet, Mr. Nunez?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay.
Send him the report, Judge, and then
it's in the report.
If I can just have his email.
Give him your email, Mr. Nunez.
dnunez@epcounty.com.
And I'll get that information, and then we'll talk about it, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Romero. You may be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Cesar Limon. At this time, court calls cause number 2018-5738. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez.
Santiago Hernandez. Oh, sorry.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Santiago Hernandez on behalf of Mr. Limon. You're ready.
Hi, Mr. Hernandez. Is your client participating? Or
yes, Your Honor.
He's here?
It's my understanding that he is.
Yes. Sorry, I'm here.
Oh, good. There you go. Mr. Limon, do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Hernandez, do you see and recognize Mr. Limon as your attorney and as your client and the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Okay, Mr. Nunez, what's going on with this one?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer on this case is 2 years deferred probation, $100 fine, 200 hours of community service, defensive driving, UABA, as well as a curfew.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, what are you thinking, sir?
Your Honor, and we've discussed this case prior. We're rejecting that offer. We did file a motion to suppress, Your Honor, and we would like to have that set.
Okay.
I think that motion will dispose of this case.
Okay, sir.
They're charging my client with evading. He was on a recreational vehicle or a quad ATV, and apparently a forest ranger tried to have him stop, and so he just wants to resolve it by way of a motion to suppress. I believe that he has a defendable case.
Okay, sir. Okay, it's not a document intensive hearing, is it? Because I'll do it.
It is not.
Okay, very good. Okay, we're going to do this on an MTS. You're going to have probably about 30 to 40 days notice. Okay, sir? And we'll do
Sounds
it.
good, Judge.
Very good.
Judge,
Yes, Mr. Hernandez, anything else then? You'll get the notice from Ms. Becky.
No, Your Honor.
Very good. Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
Judge,
Yes.
we've had this issue arise before about a motion to suppress in regards to an evading. That the issue is that you know, the idea being that if the defense, you know, believes that if there was no probable cause or reasonable suspicion, then that'll make the evading case go away. And I know I've provided case law in the past.
To me?
Yes, that we've had this very issue come up before, that that a motion to suppress regarding an evading an arrest doesn't really get to the heart of the issue, because that would the thing would be is that the defense would the theory is that if you find that there was no probable cause or reasonable suspicion, then that'll make the case go away, right? And it doesn't. That's not the case. That the case proceeds. It's just because there was no evidence obtained per se. You know what I mean? You can't suppress the arrest, in other words. And then I'll provide some case law to the court and Mr. Hernandez in regards to this. But I think that it would be not a fruitful exercise to set this for a motion to suppress on this evading case.
Okay. Well, Ivan, Mr. Martinez, I don't remember. I don't remember the issue, and I don't remember the case.
Yes.
You know what he's talking about?
Yeah, I disagree, Your Honor, and I would like to have that motion to suppress, and once that's done, if they want to present whatever case law they want, then I think we can do that at that time. But my client would like his.
Well, I'm going to set this motion to suppress in 30, 40 days, as I said. Mr. Martinez, submit to me the documentation. If it's not going to be fruitful, like you say, then
right. It would. In other words, that's not a tenable position that the court could suppress the arrest. That's just right. And I think that's what he's getting at, is that, oh, if we have this, then you can suppress the arrest somehow, and that's not a legal possibility.
Yeah.
Everybody, please be on mute and shut your cell phones, please. Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Your Honor, is that it's just this isn't a case where it's drugs or there's a piece of evidence that it's going to be suppressed and the case the state can't proceed on with the case. He's trying to suppress the case itself. Okay. And I'll provide some case law that says that is not a legal possibility on an evading case.
Okay, I thought.
Judge, I don't. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But you see, I'm saying, Judge,
go ahead, Your Honor.
I say, I'll provide the case law. Everybody has a chance to peruse it.
Right.
And then maybe come back here in 30 days or whatever, and then maybe set it for a motion to suppress at that point. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that might.
Look at the case law. What you're saying is you think Mr. Hernandez is attempting to suppress the arrest because it's evading, because there's no evidence, there's no statement, there's nothing he's suppressing. The only thing he wants to suppress is the arrest.
Right, and that is
cannot suppress.
That is a legal impossibility. Right.
Right. Okay. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Hernandez?
Judge, there are things we want the court to consider suppressing, not just the arrest. And so at this point, I don't agree with the state's position. And so we would want our hearing.
Okay. He's saying there's other things. Everybody needs.
So there's items of evidence that were obtained and was in. Well, I'll look at it. You know, if there was items of evidence that were obtained that he wishes to suppress, that he's alleging were legally obtained, by all means.
Right. This is what we're gonna do, gentlemen. Okay. Have you filed your motion so that Mr. Martinez will get a better idea of what's going to be suppressed or what's attempted?
Yes.
You have filed
Your
it?
Honor. Yes.
Okay. Okay. He's filed it already. Look at it to see specifically.
Okay. Okay. This is for Cesar Limon, right?
Hang on. I muted everybody. Mr. Martinez, unmute. Mr. Hernandez, unmute. Mr. Nunez, unmute, please. I'm getting too much feedback from you. Is it coming from you, Mr. Hernandez?
Yeah, I stopped it.
Okay.
Okay, just give me like 30 seconds. Let me just review the motion. I'm looking at it now, Your Honor.
You got it.
Judge, it's a standard motion to suppress. It can include statements, and other evidence.
Okay.
Agree that with the state's position that they tried to convince the court not to set a motion to suppress that we've set since last year. And Mr. Martinez is coming in. He hasn't even read the motion, Your Honor. He's trying to argue things that may not even apply to this case. And so again, Your Honor, we'd ask that the court set this case for a motion to suppress and allow the state to present whatever response to my motion to suppress they feel is appropriate for the court's consideration.
Okay.
Okay, what he's seeking to suppress, Your Honor, is the acquisition of evidence which will be offered in this case, and the seizure of the defendant was made without reasonable suspicion. Like I said before, the seizure of the defendant, the case itself of evading, cannot be suppressed. As far as the acquisition of evidence or any statements made by the defendant to the police, I'll look at that. I will. If there are statements that the defendant made to...
Right. That's what I presume. There were statements or some specific evidence they got or took or something. He incriminated himself and he said something. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Sure. No, absolutely. If they're, if he's in the back of the patrol car and he's saying, yeah, I evaded you guys.
Right.
So
we're going to do this. We're going to do this as Mr. Hernandez suggested. We'll set the MTS. We'll set the MTS. If at the beginning of the MTS you don't think it is appropriate, I will hear that procedural objection at that time. Meanwhile, Mr. Martinez, you can submit to me whatever case law you need to submit to me. Okay? So we'll proceed that way.
The thing is, though, Judge, is...
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll handle it that way, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But I guess I understand, Judge, but I'm just saying if there are no statements and there is no evidence that was obtained.
Well, but we're not going to go there. Just check it out first. Of course,
okay, I will. But it's just, like I said, I would just hate to go to this exercise.
Well, you can set it up for a hearing on a procedural.
I will. I'll take a look at it, Your Honor.
And I'll hear it very well. Thank you. You all may be.
Judge.
Have a great day. Okay, the next one is James Coulter, H. Davidson Smith, for cause number 2018-58. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage ready.
David Smith, Mr. Coulter, Your Honor, we're ready. This is Mr. Coulter tonight.
Both there, good. Okay, we can barely see the tips of the heads. Okay, good. Tell me the offer of settlement, please, Mr. Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor. The offer on the table is to reduce this case to a second-degree felony and offer 2 TDC on that.
Okay. Mr. Smith, what are you thinking?
Well, it's better than the last offer, but I have to talk to my client about it.
Okay.
First and foremost, my client has AIDS. He's got cancer. He takes care of his demented mother, but he's upbeat, which is more than I could say.
I'm sorry, sir. You've got lots of issues on your plate.
He does. I was trying to talk to the prosecutor about possibly doing probation, but they're getting better.
Well, let me tell you, you convinced Ms. Nava this morning. You put together a probation packet that I think was really wowed and moved Ms. Nava. Have you done that in this case, Mr. Smith?
I have not, but I will. I will get on it. Can we do it one more?
Yes, yeah, of course. We'll do one more time. I'll give you, this time you're going to put the packet together. You want 30 or 45 days?
Probably 45 days, Your Honor. I move slowly.
Well, you need medical records too, and I think it's going to be a while the medical records, right? So let's
Right.
give you 45 days, okay? If you need more time, just call Becky and we'll reset if you haven't
Thank you.
done by then, okay, Mr. Smith?
Okay, thank you.
Both of you stay safe, please. Thank you. You may be excused.
Thank you, my dear. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Jorge Ramos. 2018-68. National Council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. The state is ready.
Your Honor, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can
Good
hear
afternoon,
you
Judge.
loud and clearly, Mr. Frank Triana. I've not seen you in forever. How are you, sir?
Good, Judge. Thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm good, sir. Staying safe.
Good.
Staying safe, right?
We're ready on behalf of Mr. Ramos, Your Honor.
Mr. Ramos, is Mr. Ramos participating in this hearing this
He's in
afternoon?
the county, Judge. I'm not sure.
Oh, he's in county. Okay. Do you waive his appearance?
We do, Judge. I'll
Thank
waive
you.
it.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Nunez, give me an offer on this one, or give Mr.
Yes, sir.
Triana.
Yes, Your Honor. Last time we had a hearing on this case, we were waiting for another case to be filed, Your Honor, and it looks like it has been. And that cause number is 2019-0D04161. It is another state jail possession case, Your Honor, PG1. And it looks like he very recently, actually on May 26th of this year, picked up an assault causing bodily injury, Your Honor. That one has yet to be filed. So I would like to touch base with that CW, Your Honor, and
try to make an offer of package deal for everything. Yeah. And he's in jail. Mr. Triana, he doesn't stop committing offenses or not committing offenses, getting arrested for allegedly committing offenses.
Judge, I wasn't aware of that new assault case.
Right.
Is that something that happened before he was?
It happened May 26th of 2020 is what I heard, right?
yes, Your Honor.
May 26th of 2020.
Was
Who's
that-
appointed? Is there an attorney appointed in that case, Miss Becky? Do you have that? Do you have a case number, Mr. Nunez, on that one? So Miss Becky can check, or Mr. Castañeda?
Yes, Your Honor. It hasn't been filed yet or anything, but I have a law enforcement case number, which is 2020-05263.
Well, hopefully you get appointed on that one. If I have anything to do with it, Mr. Triana, you'll be appointed, but you know, sometimes the jail magistrates just appoint like crazy, right? Quickly and crazily.
Yes, Judge.
But
I wasn't aware of that, but I had sent an email to David yesterday. I'm not sure that he's looked at it. That was under the impression that he had these two minuscule state jail cases. So I'm hoping I can become familiar with that new assault case fairly quickly, and then I'll continue talking with David, Judge.
Good, Mr. Triana. That sounds like a plan. Meanwhile, Mr. Nunez, you're going to talk to the complaining witness and see
Yes, Your Honor.
what's going on in that situation as well. Okay, so you guys, I trust that you guys will continue to talk. I think we need one more settlement conference. I think it may be fruitful so we can discuss once everybody knows what's really going on.
Yes,
Okay.
please, Judge.
Settlement conference in 30 to 40 days. Yes, Mr. Triana?
We do have a setting already, Judge, on 8/5.
Oh, we have a setting on 8/5. You want to just keep the 8/5 setting, Ms. Becky? We have that as a settlement conference, or what is the 8/5 setting, Mr. Triana?
It's a settlement conference, Judge.
Okay, let's keep the 8/5 as a settlement conference, and we do nothing.
Yes,
Excellent idea. Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Triana. You may be excused. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you. The next one, Mr. Mena, Jorge Luis Almeida, 2018-6483, and ask for the council, please. Mr. Mena, can you unmute?
I just unmuted, Judge.
There you go.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. It's always a pleasure.
It is such a pleasure to see you.
And this handsome man is my client.
There he is. There he is, Mr. Almeida. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Good. Good. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
We're waiting for Mr. Montoya, Your Honor. I think he's on the other line.
I'm here, Judge, but I'm not sure if my video doesn't seem to be working. I'm not sure why.
It is, Mr. Montoya. That's okay. That's okay.
It's because we know who you are. We We see you in every billboard in El Paso. We know who the hell you are.
You know, I wish. I wish.
I
That
gotta
would
give
be
you
nice.
one additional item, Your Honor. At 1:38 this afternoon,
Okay.
I got a phone message from someone reminding me of early voting. It's a volunteer with Mr. Montoya's office.
Wow.
That's wonderful. He can do criminal cases and get people to vote all at the same time.
I try to do it all.
Mr. Montoya, what would we do without technology, right?
I hear you. I agree, Judge.
But it wasn't him. It was a volunteer, Judge. It wasn't him.
Wow. I thought it was a robocall.
No, they don't do that.
One of those too. Well, good. Mr. Montoya, you're a busy man.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Good.
Judge.
Good for you. Okay, sir. No worries about participating just by audio. What are we looking at in this case, or what are we talking about in this case?
Judge, Mr. Montoya indicated to me prior to the closing of the courthouse that he thought he had gotten back the results from there was a DNA examination they sent out to the lab. He had indicated to me that he had gotten it back, but I couldn't find it. So I'll have to relook on Portal and see where we are.
It is on Portal, Judge. It's under the records section.
There's the trick, Mr. Mena.
I'm old time, Judge. I don't know how to find these things.
All of us are. All of us are. Look under the record tab. Okay, Mr. Montoya, what other trick can you give Mr. Mena?
Well, Judge, in fairness to Mr. Mena, there is not a rec yet on this case. Right. And I will tell you, Judge, the reason why there hasn't been is that the key witnesses in this case are the deceased victim's children who saw the defendant choke out the victim. And I have not had an opportunity to interview them myself. This is a self-defense case. That is my understanding. I mean, that's what the defendant stated to the detectives investigating this case, that he acted in self-defense. And so that really the only two witnesses other than the defendant, like I said, Judge, are these two juvenile witnesses. Now, I've been hesitant to...
Yes, how old are these juvenile witnesses?
They're teenagers, Judge. They're not, I don't think they're 15, but I think they're older than 10. And so...
Wow. They're babies. So
right.
if they're between 10 and 15, they're babies still.
They're like I said, I can't remember their specific name, Judge, but I mean their specific ages, but they are teenagers. I've been hesitant to interview them just because I don't want them to relive the trauma of witnessing their father being killed. And honestly, I think the entirety of the state's case is going to come down to the credibility of these two juveniles. Right. And as soon as I am able to interview them, I feel like I can make an intelligent plea offer to the defendant. And so that's why there has not been one. I was planning on interviewing them in March, right after the primary election, and while they were on spring break.
Right.
And then of course, Corona happened. And so that's the reason why there isn't a rec yet.
My suggestion is we reschedule for about 60 days, Judge.
You think you can do it in 60 days, Mr. Montoya?
I think that's perfect. 60 days is perfect.
We'll do a 60-day settlement conference. You know, I can appreciate, Mr. Montoya, your sensitivity and your consideration, right?
Right.
I appreciate that because these are babies and it's a horrific situation. Yeah, eventually it's
right. It's got to get done. I agree, Judge.
Okay.
Now,
sir.
we had previously, Judge, we had filed a motion to modify my client's bond. What happened, Judge, is he was under a restriction that he should not be in the area of the family. Well, my client's moved twice and the family has followed him twice. So
No
I
way.
don't know.
The family has moved twice with him?
My client has moved out of his personal home. He moved to his parents' home and it seems like the complaining witness's family is following the general area. So we're a little confused at this point. We're keeping our distance, but they're 8 houses away. So what we're going to do is probably we'll get back with Mr. Montoya and you, Judge, at a later date. This isn't the time.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I've also obviously I'm getting something different from their family, and it, you know, they were neighbors at the time of the offense, but we can bring it up. I agree with
This isn't the right forum, Judge, and we'll do it later. And I know there's a lot of people waiting.
That's okay, Mr. Mena. I suggest you do a motion to modify his PR bond.
I did. I filed one, Judge. I'll just have Becky send me for a hearing.
Okay, Ms.
That
Becky.
motion was already filed.
Okay, we'll go ahead
Okay,
and
Judge.
set it up within the next
Couple
30
weeks.
days, you think?
That's fine.
Within the next 30 days, we're going to do the motion to modify.
That's fine. We'll do it. We'll do it after July the 15th.
You got
that works for me.
after July the 15th, Ms. Becky,
Thank
please.
you, Judge.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you. Mr. Mena, anything else, sir?
No, ma'am. Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Montoya.
Nothing from the state.
Montoya, good luck to you. Thank you all very much. You may be excused. Have a great day.
Bye,
Thank
Judge.
you, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Almeida. You may leave, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir,
you.
for participating. Salinas, that's Mr. Harris,
No se va a
2019.
escuchar nada. Por 60 días más. Okay.
Mr. Mena, you're still on. We can hear you. We can hear you, Mr. Mena. There he is. Okay. Okay. I'm calling Jesus Salinas, 2019, 1800, 1828, 2534, and 2640. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. The state is ready.
Mr. Harris? Unmute Mr. Harris. Let me see if I can find Mr. Harris.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Yes, Mr. Harris.
We're learning how to
Do you
use this
see-
equipment.
You're learning, and I'm proud of you, Mr. Harris. Very proud of you. Mr. Harris, is your defendant participating today? I don't see him.
No, he's in jail, Your Honor.
Okay, sir. So do you waive his appearance for purposes of this?
I do waive it.
Thank you. Mr. Nunez, talk to me
Yes,
about Mr. Salinas. What offer?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer on the table is to reduce the aggravated robberies down to a robbery and offer 3 TDC on those charges, as well as 2 years state jail on the state jail felonies.
Okay. What are you thinking, Mr. Harris?
We're getting close, but I would like to point out some facts that might help us settle this case.
Tell me.
You know, this is a man that was examined, see if he was competent or not. They found that he was competent now. But in the report, it also says he has mental problems that if he's not taking his medication, he has mental problems. And he told the doctor, and the doctor writes in his report, that the only time he's ever gotten treatment is when he's been here in jail. He's never had any medication before, so he's been a Looney Tune all his life. I've talked to 12 brothers, and they say he's been crazy since the day he was a kid. He's had some good periods and some bad periods. I think that if they would offer him 2 years to do, total 2 years, we would take it. He's already been in jail quite a long time. He's perfectly okay and normal now because he's on medication. And another thing is, I believe he's a resident alien, and he will be deported for this case.
Okay.
So,
all reasons, Mr. Nunez, you can go down 1 more year?
I can't, Your Honor. That's really is the best I can do right now.
The best you can do. Okay. Can Mr. Harris go talk to Mr. Martinez to see if Mr. Martinez will go down to 2?
Absolutely.
I don't think I'll
What,
do anything.
okay, so the rec right now is 3.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's got mental
You
ill-
want 2?
he has mental illness issues. Right.
No, I do.
I mean, he's had these issues all his life. It's not
And I
something.
know Mr. Harris is the
crazy
reasonable
now.
man, so let's we can do 2.5.
How about I flip you for the other half?
No, I'm not trying to be
Head to
cute here.
jail,
I really am.
Fred.
I'm just trying to be reasonable. I think that's
Okay.
fair. I mean, it's not the minimum. It's not 3. It's
It's
a little
an
bit more.
improvement. it's an improvement, and thank you.
Right.
I will go see him,
Okay.
not tomorrow. Yeah, maybe, yeah, tomorrow I will go see him and let you know tomorrow afternoon.
Appreciate it, Mr. Harris.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Then Mr. Harris, if he accepts it, call Becky so she can put it on a Friday, because he is in jail.
I will do that, Your Honor.
Okay. And I think, really, I'm telling you, Mr. Harris, that's probably the best you're going to get out of Mr. Martinez.
Mr. Martinez, right. I know.
I think 2.5 is going to be the best, and I think it was pretty darn good.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You may be excused. We're going to go ahead.
No, I've got another case pending.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that. Should we set this for settlement, Mr. Harris?
David
Hang on.
Ramirez.
Okay, hang on. I'm still listening. You want me to set it up for a settlement conference, or will I trust that you'll call Becky and say yes to the plea?
I missed it, Your Honor.
Okay, do you want me to set it up for a settlement conference in 30 days, or can I trust that you will call Becky to set it for a plea?
I guarantee you I'll call her back. I mean,
Okay.
that's not a problem.
Okay.
And Judge, before Mr. Harris, before I forget, do you want to tell him about yesterday's Dakota Harris, that we are going to set him back up on a conference?
Oh, we are? Okay.
What happened? I don't remember, Becky.
That was the one you told Mr. Harris, no more settlement conferences because his Dakota, and then after Aaron Setliff got on the Zoom, on the conference call, you said that we were going to go ahead and set up Mr. Harris's
Yeah, we're going to
client.
set up one more time. I don't remember the specific issue. This was all the Harris yesterday.
He's offered 5 years in prison. He said no.
Oh, I know what the issue is. I know
He
what
set it for trial. Okay.
this is the issue. No, this is the issue. I'm setting it up one more time. Thank God I'm still not that old and I remember. Mr. Setliff said this is an all or nothing deal. Either all defendants take it or none of the defendants take it. So I'm going to set it up for one more settlement conference so I can try and talk you and your client into taking something. And he says, I'm open to a little bit less than 5, but everybody's got to take it or I don't offer it to anybody. Because one can testify against the other and then it's a mess. Okay. So that's what he said. So we're doing one more settlement conference, Mr. Harris, on that one.
Fine. Thank you.
The next one is David Ramirez, 2019-4155, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Rob Harris, we are ready, Your Honor.
Very good. You want to waive Mr. Ramirez, or is he present on the screen?
No, I would waive it, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer on the table here is a 1244A to deferred drug and alcohol counseling, 50 hours of community service, a $100 fine, UABA, perfect,
It's a
or a 4B time serve.
We accept.
Accept what? What do you accept, Mr. Harris?
The offer that he just made, Your Honor.
Okay, what offer did he just make? Because he made 2 offers. Which one are you?
One's probation and one's time served.
So which one are you accepting?
Hang on, let me look at my notes again, Your Honor. What was it? Try. I'll be with you in just a minute.
Okay, take your time.
Judge,
Mr. Nunez.
Judge, David Ramirez is on the Zoom also, okay?
Oh, Mr. Ramirez.
Oh, he's on the Zoom.
How come, Mr. Ramirez? How come you don't participate by video, sir? Mr. Ramirez.
He's on mute now.
Huh?
Now he's on mute.
I know. I'm asking him. There he is, Mr. Ramirez.
Oh, I know.
Hang on, Mr. Harris. Mr. Ramirez.
Yeah.
Maybe he can't hear either, Rick. Mr. Ramirez, can you hear me?
No.
No. Mr. Ramirez. Okay, Mr. Ramirez, he's already waved. Mr. Ramirez cannot hear and we can't see him.
Your Honor, what can I proceed?
Go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
I knew there was something else that I was going to ask for, see if it could be possible.
Hang on, Mr. Harris, hang on. I want to interrupt you because Mr. David Ramirez is now present in this hearing. I want you to know that, okay? Okay, Mr. Ramirez.
It looks like he can hear us, but we just cannot hear him.
He participated no, we can't hear you, Mr. Ramirez. We cannot hear you at all. You waived his appearance already. He's going to try to get back on. Go ahead, Mr. Harris. Talk to me.
I would agree with a reduced sentence to 1244. However, he had asked me, and I'm going to ask the prosecutor to consider maybe a pretrial
Mr. Harris, he's offered deferred.
I understand that. We're agreeing to take it. I was just going to ask if maybe it could be a diversion case.
Well, the diversion cases are for misdemeanor case.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I forgot. We'll take the deferred probation. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So we'll set this up. Okay, he's waving. He's waving. He's like, I don't know if he's happy about it.
Well, I talked to him this morning. This morning we discussed these things, Your Honor. And I told him that's probably the best offer that he would get.
Okay. Mr. Ramirez, what I want you to do, does Mr. Ramirez have your cell number, Mr. Harris?
He's got my phone number.
Call the office.
He called my office. I'm at the office.
Tell him to call the office right now. I'm telling him, Mr. Ramirez, hang up right now. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Call Mr. Harris's office if you have an objection to what he's saying, because we can't hear you. And tell him what you need or want, Mr. Ramirez. Mr. Ramirez looks gone.
I'll wait for a call.
His screen froze, Judge.
What?
He's back on again. He's back on again, but I can't hear him.
Mr. Ramirez, can you talk? Okay, we can't hear you, Mr. Ramirez. Call your attorney instead. Get off of this and call your attorney. Okay, Mr. Ramirez?
Oh.
Mr. Ramirez?
It might be him.
Hold on for a second. I can barely hear him.
Can you hear me? Okay. Say that again. The offer is a misdemeanor deferred.
Can do.
Take 1 year probation. Take it.
Let's.
The felony.
Yes.
I'm muting Mr. Harris before he gets himself into trouble. Okay, and we'll get it back to him. Okay. The next one is going to be Martin Ayala. That's Mr. Leonel Nunez. He's not on, is he, Mr. Rick?
No, I don't see him.
Okay, the next one is public defender. Do I have a public defender on Javier Chavez? On?
I see Janet.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Gabe Bombada.
There it is. At this time, court calls cause number 2019-7068, Javier Chavez. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Gabriel Bombada for Mr. Chavez, who's also present through this Zoom process. Ready, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Chavez, where are you, sir? I don't see you.
Moto E5 play, Your Honor.
E5 play, Judge. He is on mute. He's on mute.
I'm asking you to unmute. Can you unmute, Moto?
Yes, Your Honor.
There you go, sir. Do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen, Mr. Chavez?
Hey, Mr. Chavez.
And Mr. Bombada, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect it. Both have recognized each other. I'm letting David Ramirez in again, Mr. Salazar. Let's see if he can do it. Okay, Mr. Nunez, what's the situation with Mr. Chavez?
Yes, Your Honor. We have not had any contact with our CW yet, Your Honor, and I would like one more stab at it before we offer a recommendation in this case. And that's really where our status is right now in this case, Your
And
Honor.
maybe if you can't locate her, we can do a Wednesday trial on this.
That could be a possibility, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, very good. Well, so I'll give you a settlement conference in 30 days. Are you okay with that, Mr. Bombada?
The settlement conference in 30 days is fine, Your Honor.
I'm going to give him a little bit more of opportunity to locate the complaining witness, okay, Mr. Bombada?
And if I can just remind Mr. Nunez that this is the case that we had where he picked it up before he did 8 months, and it was indicted while he was in jail. Also,
Yes.
if that also rings a bell. Thank you.
That helps in settling too, because he's already served some time after the fact.
Yes, Judge, and thank you for the reminder, Mr. Lombada. I do remember that. Thank you.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, 30-day settlement conference, Mr. Bombada. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Go take care of that precious baby, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. May
Maybe.
me and my client be excused?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chavez.
Thank you, Javier.
Very good. I'm back. Let's see if Mr. Ramirez can talk to us. Mr. Ramirez, can you talk to us? Mr. Harris, are you there still? Mr. Harris? Mr. Harris present, Mr. Rick?
They're both on
He's
mute.
on mute, Judge.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez, you did a great job of connecting.
Sorry, I'm not used to this.
You're gonna get used to it, sir. Okay. And Mr. Harris, you're back again, right?
I'm here.
Okay, we're back on the record in 2019-4155. Mr. Harris, you've had an opportunity to speak to your client. What did you guys decide?
He decided he wants to take the year deferred probation.
Got it. Beautiful. I think that was a great choice, Mr. Ramirez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
Pay attention to your lawyer. He's a very good lawyer. He knows what he's talking about.
Just one quick thing. Can I do a modification on maybe, they said I had to take classes, right? Is there a way that I could trade that in for maybe being a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
Wait. Seeing a psychiatrist or a psychologist?
Yes, I think my main issue is not that I have a drug problem or anything like that, but mental health is the big issue with me. And I finally got rid of all the toxic people in my life. But I think,
Mr. Ramirez, I'm proud of you, sir. That's good. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you're realizing what was one of your triggers. Maybe.
yeah, it was the place I was working to. I was working at Foxy's, and I got involved with the wrong people, and it's really what messed me up. But I was hoping instead of taking drugs,
Isn't Foxy's a topless place?
it was all new. But I'll never ever
Oh,
work
my
again.
God. How could I allow you to work at Foxy's?
I don't want to work at Foxy's. I actually stopped working there a while back, but that place really did mess up my life. And instead of
Anymore. You don't have to
instead of
say.
taking drug classes, can I get can I see a psychiatrist instead, maybe?
Mr. Will you accept that modification, Mr. Nunez, rather than drug and alcohol counseling? He does.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Who's Moto S5? Who are you, sir?
That's Gabe Bombada's client, Judge. You're already done with him?
Okay, let me see. I think he's the one that was doing something. Okay. Okay. I think his phone was the one that was ringing, Mr. Rick, right? Because it went to him.
Yeah, it was his phone that was going off.
Good. Okay. Okay, Mr. Nunez, will you accept instead of drug and alcohol counseling that he do psychiatrists, a psychologist?
Could we put him on the MHMR caseload?
We'll put him on MHR caseload. We can do that. Or we have him screened for MHR caseload. Okay. But will you drop the drug and alcohol counseling is I think what he's asking.
Yes, Your Honor, because I mean, if there's any problems with that later, we can always.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. There you have it. We'll set it up for a plea. Mr. Ramirez, I'm proud of you that you have looked inward. You have looked at yourself. You've looked at the ugly issues that, that you created, right? But you can do something about it.
Yes.
You create it, you can uncreate them, right?
It's hard, but yeah, I'm working on it, Your Honor. This past quarantine was really horrible to me, but it also kept a lot of people away from me, and it opened up my eyes a lot. So.
For you, sir. I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about that. All the druggies are in quarantine too, so they're not out tempting everybody. Good. Good. Okay. There's some silver linings to this quarantine, right, Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, there is. Actually, it's been a blessing.
Guy, sir. You're a good guy. You just made bad mistakes. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Mr. Harris, I hope we can do non-custody in-person hearings by mid-July, is what I'm hoping. Mr. Harris, again, I'm telling you, if you feel unsafe, let me know. Going to the courthouse to do a plea, you let me know and we'll make arrangements somehow.
It does not bother me.
Good for you.
I'll
Good,
be there.
good for you. Okay, sir. So we're looking at July, possibly. Becky will send you notice.
Thank you.
Mr. Harris, you're getting very proficient on this. You and your wife, I thank her too. She's helping.
It's my wife that does it, not me. I just sit here.
I know that, but I wanted to give you a little bit of credit. Thank you,
No,
Mr. Harris. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Ramirez, thank you, sir. Thank you for participating this afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too, sir. Adam Celso, Victor Serrano, court cause number 2018-4635, and that's on the council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Victor Serrano, on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor, ready?
Good, okay. Mr. Serrano, how are you today, sir? I haven't seen you in a bit.
Judge. In a while, about 6-7 months, Judge.
It has been good to see you, Mr. Serrano.
Likewise, Judge.
You look well and safe.
Likewise, Judge.
Good, thank you, sir. Mr. Celso, there you are, sir. Talk to me, unmute. Mr. Celso, do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, that's it.
And
Yeah.
Mr. Serrano, do you see and recognize Mr. Celso as your client and the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Mr. Nunez, can you
Yes,
tell
Your
me the deal on this one, what the offer?
Your Honor, the one thing that's on portal, it's a TDC rec, but I know that's an old rec. There's probably another rec on the jacket. However, the last time we met on this case, I know that I was supposed to try and get a hold of the complaining witness in this case. And while I have spoken with them, it has been a while. I have not been able to get a hold of them recently. I have not had any contact.
Do you want Mr. Castañeda to check the jacket to see what it says?
If you could, please, Your Honor.
Castañeda, can you check? When was our last hearing and what did I put down there?
Well, the last notes regarding any sort of rec was on January 29th of this year, and they indicate 10 years adult probation.
10 years straight probation. Do you remember that, Mr. Serrano?
I do remember some probation, Your Honor, but I'm not.
But Judge,
go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the settlement log says 10 years deferred probation.
Okay. I don't recall it, but it's been a few months.
But you know what? Let me tell you something. The log is probably right and my notes are probably wrong because you guys signed it, right?
Yes, Judge.
So
Exactly, Judge.
Wrong, and it's a deferred, Mr. Nunez. Are you okay with the deferred?
Yes, Your Honor. And that sounded more like it. If there wasn't a rec, that's what I was going to go with anyway.
Okay, talk to me.
Your Honor, if we may have a little bit more time with Mr. Celso and I, so I can discuss everything about what deferred entails, and maybe perhaps come back in about 30 days, and hopefully we have an answer for the court.
Perfect. Very good. Settlement conference in 30 days. Anything else,
Thank you,
Mr.
Your Honor. Nothing else, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Nunez, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Celso, you may be excused. Thank you all. Mr. Serrano, nice to see you, sir.
Likewise, Your Honor. Thank you.
Marta
May I be
Vega.
excused, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
May I be excused? Thank you.
Marta Vega.
Yes, Your Honor, that's my case.
Court calls cause number 2018-5869. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Bernie Vasquez with the defense, we're ready, Your Honor.
Marta Vega is not present. Are you going to waive her appearance, Mr. Vasquez?
I'll waive for presence, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor. The offer on the table is 10 years deferred probation, 20 hours of community service, anger management.
Hours of community service?
20 hours. I copied and pasted this, Judge, but I put 20 hours, so I'm pretty sure that's what I pasted.
Yeah, you said 20. I don't think you've ever given 20 hours. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay.
Put that for right now, and I'll double check right here, Judge. Anger management, MHMR, and no contact with the victims in this case.
Okay. What are you thinking, Mr. Vasquez?
Nope, we're not taking anything in this case, Judge.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, maybe a disorderly conduct, perhaps. Class C, yes, but not that. I've discussed this case with Mr. Nunez, Judge. My client, she was suicidal. She has mental issues. She decided to go to the hospital to get help. But apparently she was ignored for many hours. So she started to hit herself against the stretcher. Then the security officers get involved, and that's the assault. So
There was no speeding involved in this case, because I remember this.
no, Judge, no. It's that she's on the stretcher already, and then she's just in a very bad situation. Yeah.
She's losing control. She hits herself and hits everybody else.
Yes.
And they're trying to restrain her. So that's the scaffold with the security officers, because she's hitting herself.
Right.
And if you look at the booking photo, you can see her condition. She has all the marks in her face of like the stretcher, because she was just hitting herself. And she went to the hospital because she felt suicidal again. She tried to even kill herself a few years back. She's a veteran. She was discharged from her federal job because of her mental illness. So now she's fine. She's very stable. She's doing great. But she told me from the beginning, I just don't feel that I should accept anything on this case, because I never tried to assault him. I went there for help, and I ended up being charged.
Okay, Mr. Nunez.
And Your Honor, she is also on probation currently, from what I see, on injury to a child, state jail felony.
Our court?
Out of the 41st District Court.
Then this case needs to go to the 41st. What are we talking about?
And it was under a different name, Your Honor. So just to let the court know, here we have a Martha Vega, and over there in the 41st, she's under Martha Lopez.
Okay, needs to go to the 41st, Miss Becky, right?
Yes, Judge, if he can give me, the case number out of the 41st.
But just remember, it's a different name, Miss Becky, okay?
Right, under Martha Lopez, right, he said?
Yes, Ms. Becky, and the case number is 2016 0D0 2488.
Guess what, guys? I disposed of a case today. I'm excited.
I'm pretty sure that David is happy about this case getting transferred.
Yeah. I got disposed of one case today. Phew.
So she's still on probation in that court. No discharge, no nothing.
From what I see out of the court files on portal, there's no discharge, no nothing.
Okay. The same date of birth on both defendants in that case, Miss Becky? The same date of birth, Miss Becky?
That's what I need to check, Judge.
That's what I want.
It's her, Judge. I think it's because she changed her name when she got divorced.
Okay, then
I
there
think
it is.
that's the reason.
Okay, then there it is. Okay, transferred. Amen. First case disposed of today. Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Thank you, Mr. Nunez, for telling me. She was on
Thank you.
probation out of another court. That should have been the first words out of your mouth, Mr. Vasquez. You know what? I was sympathetic to her.
Yeah, it's a terrible case, Judge. It really is. There's no visible injuries against the security officers, and I believe that one already said that he didn't want to just get involved in the trial or anything like that. So I think it was just poor handled, and that's it.
Well, people with mental illness, it was just a bad situation for them. Just a bad situation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be transferred. Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Did you have any more?
Yes, Judge. I have another one. Christian Diaz. It's on page 6, Judge. The first one.
Got it. At this time, court calls cause number 2020-0067, 2017, 2050, 5666, and 2018, 3564. Announcement of council, please. Mr. Nunez?
I thought that, well, David Nunez on every case, Your Honor, except 2020 ODO 0067.
Is that Mr. Setlif's?
I believe so, Your Honor. I may have mislabeled it, but from what I understand. Oh, no, actually.
They're all yours?
No, I think they were, yeah.
I do apologize. I thought that I did mislabeled it. I apologize, Judge.
Are they all yours, Mr. Nunez? Yes? Mr. Nunez, you're muted.
Yes, Your Honor. David Nunez for the state on all cases. I do apologize.
Got it.
Brennan Vasquez for the defense. We're ready, Your Honor.
And Judge Leon Luna with adult probation on his probation cases.
Thank you, Ms. Luna. Thank you.
Hi, Judge.
Okay. How are you?
Doing well yourself, Judge.
You again. Okay, Mr. Nunez, what are we talking about, please? Here.
7 years TDC to run concurrent with all the rest of the pending cases, Your Honor.
With all probation cases that he's on.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, well, first of all, he's in jail. Do you
Yes.
waive his appearance, You waive his appearance, Mr.?
I do, Judge. I waive his presence. He's in custody.
Okay.
And Judge, we are only asking for the minimum 5 years. That's our counter.
Will you go down to 2 years, Mr. Nunez? Let's try to convince Mr. Nunez, Mr.
Yes.
Vasquez, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, on this.
Was he kind of good on probation, or how was his behavior?
No, he was brought on probation, Judge. We had a hearing before the pandemic in this case. You were very upset because he didn't behave on probation, Judge. You said, well, it's time to revoke you in period. The offer of 7 years was presented that day. And I've been in contact with him and the family. All we want at this point, Judge, is do the 5 years, which is the minimum. Now, just in regards with the new case, there's a co-defendant. The co-defendant was basically, she told the cops that the drugs were hers. She claimed the drugs ownership from the beginning, but my client was the driver. So that's why they were charged. And they found a little bit on his person as well. But we're willing to plead to that one too if we get just the minimum.
Well, he's offering a package of 7, but okay. What do you think to 5? What do you think to 5, Mr.? Then we won't try to convince Mr. Nunez with his behavior on probation then.
No, that's a very bad argument for me.
Stay away from that, Ms. Luna. I'm
yes,
sorry.
Judge, he did not do well on probation at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I be the voice of reason here?
Go ahead. You know, you've been putting your 2 cents in all afternoon, Mr. Martinez. Sometimes
I
much
say-
to my dismay, you may go ahead.
Come on, Ivan.
The fair resolution is 6.
There it is. He's a man of reason and
Boom.
compromise. He's a man of reason and compromise. 6. There you go.
Ivan
Okay, Judge, I'm going to the annex tomorrow. I'll convey the offer. Most likely we'll take it, Judge.
6 years isn't bad. Isn't bad for all of that. Okay, 6 years it is. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. You aggravated me on 2 or 3 cases, but you may have settled one, so I'm happy again.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Anything else?
That's it for me, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. You may be excused. Have a great day.
Judge, may I be excused?
Yes, Ms. Luna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Maria Garcia, that's Mondragon. Is Mr. Mondragon? Yes, present. 2019-491. Announcement of council, please. Announcement of council, Mr. Nunez and Mr.
David
Mondragon.
Nunez, state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Orlando Mondragon, on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor, we are ready.
And the defendant is in jail, Mr. Mondragon?
No, Your Honor, she's here in my office in the waiting area.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, Mr. Nunez, give
Yes, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Mondragon an offer.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe we already have a deal in place and plea papers have already been sent to Mr. Mondragon. The plea is going to be 2 years deferred probation, a $500 fine, 20 hours of community service, urine and breath analysis, curfew, and theft counseling.
Got it.
Reduced to a Class B, Your Honor.
Okay, is that it? Mr. Nunez, reduced to Class B?
I'm fairly certain that is. I just going off of the email exchange that him and Mr. Martinez had. But
Your Honor, she'll be pleading to theft over 100 under 750. It's on the email and in the rec.
Class B. Class B, Mr. Martinez, it
yes,
is?
it is, Your Honor. I confirm that.
Okay, great. There
That's
it is.
correct, Your Honor.
Non-custodial in-person, please, Mr. Mondragon, okay? Mid-July, I think, I hope.
That'll be fine, Your Honor. I'll sign her up anyway.
Beautiful. Anything else, Mr. Mondragon? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Nothing
Anything-
further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Mr. Nunez, thank you. You all may be excused. The next one is Marian Gonzalez. Is Mr. Parra on? I don't see Mr. Parra on anymore. I let him in, but then I guess he left. The next one is Judith Quintero. Becky, can you get Santiago Hernandez back?
On the phone. Okay, Judge, and he has both defendants. I think they're co-defendants.
I know. We need him back. We need him back.
Let me call him. And then I did call Leonel Nunez on his judge on that Martina Ayala. That one pled on March 5th. And maybe I didn't see it when I set this up.
What page? Oh,
March 5th.
okay, Becky, we need them. We need Sebastian. We need Avelar. What happened with Avelar for this morning? Remember? Hello, Miss Becky? Miss Becky, you're on mute.
Yes, Judge, let me call him too.
Did you call him this morning and say do it?
Yes. And right after we got off and you released Anita, she turns around, tells me, oh, he just got out of the other hearing. And I said, yeah, but she already released a court reporter and everybody's gone. And she's like, okay.
Okay, Daniel Barber. Is anybody there for Daniel Barber? Nobody's out there for that one. The next one is, that's it.
And Judge, on Daniel Barber, he has the first 3 cases on page, 6. He has 4. It proceeds to the next one, Nicholas Santibanez, but and then public defender is on one where they appointed, but they were supposed to have been withdrawn or they shouldn't have been appointed. Daniel Barber was retained.
Okay, so they have to follow. Okay, Becky. Well, there's no defense attorneys on, and I'm done with my docket.
Okay, let me call him.
I wish Santiago Hernandez wouldn't have left or would have told me he had 2 other cases. Mr. Setliff, which one are you waiting for, sir?
Judge, it's the one you're looking for Santiago on. It's
Got
Judith
it.
Quintero. I don't have Ms. Hinojosa on my list for today, but they're the same case, so I'm happy to handle that one off, obviously.
Yeah, he's on. Yeah, he has Hinojosa and then he has Quintero. Okay, thank you, Mr. Setliff.
Yeah, of course.
Mr. Parra was on earlier, but I guess he had to leave. Let me go through my docket. We
Sorry,
finished.
Judge, also Santibanez is, I have one of his cases. Of the several.
Very good. Very good, Mr. Setliff. Thank you. We finished with page 3. We finished with page 4. Page 5, we're still missing Mr. Parra and Santiago Hernandez. Santibanez. Becky, I'm not waiting, Miss Becky and Mr. Artemio. Did you get the email from, what's her name? Was it Miss Guerra for Mr. Daniel Rodriguez?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. He's absconded.
I sent you the bench warrant already.
Okay. I'm not going to sit here and wait for him for an hour either.
Okay.
Did you send him the email? Do you know? He's been gone, that he doesn't even have the email.
Let me double check with her, Judge.
Double check, because if he sent him the email, maybe he is gonna participate. Okay, Mr. Avila, let's take care of yours, sir. Please,
Judge.
from this morning. Mr. Nunez, remember it's this morning's docket, okay?
Listen.
Okay, which case was Mr. Avila this morning?
I didn't hear that, Your Honor. What was that?
It was on page 2, Judge. Thank you. Okay, at this time, court calls cause number 2019-4538, State of Texas versus Ricardo Morales. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State's ready.
Daniel Avelar for Ricardo Morales, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Avelar, we've got an issue. Mr. Morales somewhere to be found, or is he in your office? Or?
He is not, Your Honor. Just as a heads up, we're not letting anybody in our office anymore. And so we're sending everybody the Zoom links. And I think he was there this morning, and I don't think he got back on this afternoon.
How come you're not letting anybody in your office anymore? What happened over there?
Well, we're on YouTube. I'd rather, yeah. I'll tell you about it.
Judge, Mr. Morales is in jail.
Oh, I thought he was on this morning.
Look, maybe he was, and then they arrested him this afternoon. He was placed on a listen to his PR bond violation. I issued out a bench warrant for him.
Okay.
Mr. Morales was placed on a PR bond on 5/26/19. He attended orientation on 5/29/19. He reported as instructed based on the DWI praxis. A notice of violation was submitted on 10/21/19 due to failing to switch to the scram unit. Remember, I allowed him to do the switch. Warrant was issued, but he was put back on PR bond 11/21/19 on a 15,000 PR bond. He attended orientation on 11/21. He reported monthly as instructed. All urinalysis were negative. But on 2/27/20, Recovering Monitoring Solutions sent an email asking if Mr. Morales was allowed to remove his unit. An email was sent to the court regarding this, and the removal was not authorized. Ooh, he thought he was the boss of himself, Mr. Avila.
Yes, ma'am.
A notice of violation was submitted on 3/1 due to his turning into the device and failing to test. So, yeah.
So what's happened since late February to now?
What do you mean?
So we haven't had hearings for him, or
Yeah, but
what I mean is,
he was just arrested. What day was he arrested, Mr. Castañeda?
I'm showing that he was booked on May 13th, Judge, and the warrant, I believe, was issued March 3rd.
Okay.
and then he's been on the run since.
No, he's in jail.
Right, but he got caught up. He got caught up. He got caught up. Like, when did he get arrested? Or he's been in jail?
He's been in jail since May 13th.
Oh, okay.
On my bench warrant for his violations on his PR bond.
Is this a true third?
Is it, Mr. Nunez? Do we?
Fourth arrest, Your Honor. I believe one DWI second was dismissed a while back.
I did write second, so this is a true third.
Fourth arrest, but I guess if in terms of conviction, this would be a true third.
A true third conviction, but 4 arrests. Okay. Okay.
What do you want to do, David?
Your Honor, and Mr. Avila, the offer right now, as it stands, is 7 years of straight probation. 7 years straight probation, Your Honor. $1,000 fine, 200 hours of community service, $60 in reimbursement for.
You're still offering probation when he thought he was the boss of himself and took off that alcohol monitoring device? Took it off?
He's increasing the amount of.
Well, that's why I'm repeating what was on the table, Your Honor. That was what we had previously.
What date was that offer, Mr. Nunez?
I need to go back. I wrote it on the docket, Your Honor. I have to go back into portal where I had put it. It was on December 11th of 2019.
How long? He's been in jail since May the 13th, you said, Mr. Sam, right? May
13th, Judge, yes.
June.
So what I'm saying is, Your Honor, that was before the PR bond violations. So here, I didn't know about any of these, but if he takes it, I'll be willing to go to 3 TDC.
I don't think that's what she meant.
No, that's not what I meant. No, that's not. But you know what? Are you still willing, based on the fact, maybe we'll just give him a break. Based on the fact that he takes the device off, maybe he's learned his lesson and he's been in jail for a little bit. What about just keeping it at the 7 straight probation? If you're willing to do that, I think I'm willing to do that. And let me tell you something else. I want him to be in jail until the time of the plea. So that's going to be mid-July, maybe. 2 more weeks, because those are the only pleas that we can do. So to dispose of this case will.
Okay. What's up? What do you think, David?
With the same, no, if we don't have to change any terms and conditions in terms of the fine or the community service. If the court allows it, I will honor the old rec and to include also the reimbursement to DPS.
Thank you, David. So $1,000. Can you repeat the terms? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. It's a $1,000 fine, 200 hours of community service, $60 reimbursement to DPS, and then all the other terms and conditions of a DWI third.
The ACOP stuff and all that.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Avila, he knows that this court means business. He can't be taking that device. He's not the boss of himself.
I will.
Yeah.
I will reiterate if he hasn't heard it already.
Yeah, he's not the boss of him. And we're giving him a major break. He's going to have to reactivate. I don't know what's happening with that device, but that device is going to have to be reactivated at the time of the plea so he can be released. Are you going to do the 10 days ACOP? I think you have to, right?
That's statutory.
Yeah. We'll stay in 10 days more, so that's okay then. Okay.
Your Honor,
That's
does
a
this,
good deal, Mr. Avila, in light of all his behavior on his PR bond.
I get it. I agree. Does the court set it for a plea, Your Honor, and another?
Becky will. Miss Becky, I think we have, when is the next Friday available for jail pleas?
Till the 10th. That's in 2 weeks. I think I only have right now, I think I only have two pleas set.
There
2
it
or
is.
3.
Mr. Avila, it's not
I
too
have bond hearings too, so.
It's not too far.
Judge, they're offering him probation.
Right, 7 years straight.
And he knows that even on probation, he's still gonna have to have the unit, right?
Becky, yeah.
I'm just saying.
I already told Mr. Avila, he has to have a come to Jesus with this man who thinks he's the boss of him. So.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
What else, Mr. Avila? You start the
That's it.
paperwork. Paperwork.
Yeah, David, if you can send that to me, brother, I'll go to the annex wherever he's at, and I'll
Do what you
give
have
him
to
a
do.
nice little lecture.
Yes, you have. What else?
See?
Mr. Avila, anything else, sir? Did you have anything on my afternoon docket, Mr. Avila?
No, Your Honor, I didn't. I apologize about that this morning.
Okay, that's okay, sir. Okay, you may be
Judge,
excused.
do I set it or do I wait till he has the paperwork ready in case that the defendant doesn't take the plea?
Mr. Avila, I have to tell you, if your defendant doesn't take a plea or the plea paperwork isn't ready, I'm gonna be pretty upset because you're taking up a slot that I could be using because I don't have very much time and for the jail. Okay, so can we, you want us to for sure set it up on July 10th? He is gonna take it and the plea papers will be ready, gentlemen?
What's the alternative? Because Becky's right.
The alternative is a bond hearing. Because we can't try that unless yeah, the bond hearing if you want to try to get him out.
No, we can set it. I don't mind setting it for a plea, and then I can even we can do telephone conferences with the jail too, and I can just sit down and say, hey man, you gotta work this out, bro.
Okay. So you're saying you're going to take the 7 years straight probation?
I think so. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll set it for July 10th. And if within a day or so you say no, then just let Miss Becky know. I just don't want it one of the 6. I can only do 6 per facility.
Got it. Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Okay, sir. Okay. Mr. Avila, anything else, sir?
Nothing further.
Okay, thank you. You may be excused. Have a good afternoon.
You do the same.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we finished with that morning docket. Now, Miss Becky, oh, we have Mr. Santiago Hernandez back. Thank you so much for coming back.
Hi, Judge.
Mr. Santiago, I didn't realize you had other cases. Otherwise, I would have taken care of you at that time.
Judge, I apologize.
No worries. The next one is Judith Quintero. Court cause number 2019-5523, and ask when the council, please.
Your Honor, it's Aaron Sutliff for the state. I'm ready to proceed.
Santiago Hernandez on behalf of Ms. Quintero, Your Honor.
Very good. And do you waive Ms. Quintero's appearance, Mr.?
Yes,
Hernandez?
Judge.
Very good.
Yes.
Mr. Sutliff, let's talk about some offer of settlement. What are you looking at?
I've offered Judge the minimum, but the minimum is 15 to do in TDC. She possessed 4 pounds, I want to say, of cocaine at the bridge.
Yes. Those facts.
No,
Go
Judge, 4.46 kilograms, I think is the total.
4.46 kilos is about 8 pounds, or every kilo is like about 2 pounds.
Right,
So it's
Judge?
not 4 pounds, it was kilos. That's almost 8, 9, probably 10 pounds.
Right, Judge.
Okay, that's not a good case. Those bridge cases aren't good cases, Mr. Santiago, Mr. Hernandez. What are you thinking about this?
Judge, there's some issues in this case. There's also a co-defendant, Bertha Hinojosa. I think she's also set this afternoon.
Right, we'll take that one up next, but go ahead and tell me.
Yeah, Judge. Essentially, so I think that the last offer that I have written in here is, or at least my counter was, we were seeking international probation, Your Honor. There are some issues in this case, in that the driver is the mother, the passenger is the daughter.
Bertha Hinojosa is the mother?
Yes. Okay. And Judith Quintero is the daughter. They come over the bridge. They question Miss Quintero, the passenger. They never really question Miss Hinojosa. Miss Quintero makes some statements, but with regards to Miss Hinojosa, I believe she does have a legitimate suppression issue. And so we did file a motion to suppress, Judge.
Okay.
Before the whole pandemic happened,
yeah,
we were kind of waiting to see if we could get set for that. I know that Mr. Sutledge and I were trying to work it out, but that's kind of as far as we went.
Right. Let's set up for a motion to suppress. Let's set up for a motion to suppress. What are you offering Bertha Hinojosa, Mr. Sutliff?
They both got, so I'm not offering, after a suppression, the 15 TDC, which is the minimum sentence on both defendants. I'll go up from them. I'm offering it for 1 month from today. The offers expired in January of 2020. I realize that we're in extraordinary time, so of course I'll honor those. But Santiago and I have had conversations. I don't see the same challenges as he does, but that's not my role, obviously. So I'll hold pretty tight to those recs for the moment, and I would look forward to hearing more from him, and we can work on it. But if we have a suppression, then I'm not offering the 15, which would be the minimum.
Yeah, Mr. Hernandez, you know that they pulled the rec if it's a suppression, okay? So, so we'll give you a suppression hearing, and you have until then to see what you can work out.
Yeah. Now, okay. and then just to be clear, on Ms. Hinojosa, you were offering 5, were you not?
I'm not offering that now, Santiago. If we have further conversations, I can work with you and we can discuss the possibility. But the wrecking portal that expired in January is 15. You and I can have conversations, but I don't want to work against myself if she's not even willing to plead guilty.
Okay.
Okay, so see, there's a little bit of wiggle room, Mr. Hernandez, is what I'm.
Okay.
There's a wiggle room. Talk to him privately. We're going to set up the motion to suppress in about 30 to 40 days. Okay, and it's only going to be on Bertha Hinojosa, right?
Yes.
It's not going to be on both, right? So it's just going to be on Bertha Hinojosa, Ms. Becky. Set up an MTS for Bertha Hinojosa, 30, 40 days. That gives you a little bit of time. We'll see you back at the suppression, or you call up to cancel, that you guys work something out.
Okay. I'll call her.
I think that we would need to address the issue of representing both defendants if we're going to have a contested hearing like the suppression. So I think prior to the suppression, I'd ask that we have further conversation. I realize that you can admonish both defendants, but I think that would be a complexity, especially when they're looking at so much time.
That would be appropriate. And really, it's just an admonishment that there could be possible conflicts, and they're waiving any kind of conflict, Mr. Hernandez. So let's do this. Let's set that up in 3 weeks. just that hearing, that just a little bit quick and brief. They're both in jail.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they're both in jail. We'll do that real quick in about 2 or 3 weeks, a 10-minute little, and they waive their rights and, okay?
Okay, Judge.
Miss Becky will give you notice. Well, that'll probably be July 10th. I think that's
What kind of hearing? Well, I would say if that, Judge, maybe the week after, since I don't have anything set on the 17th.
Well, Becky, this is just a 5-minute thing where they acknowledge that there's a possible conflict and they're waiving any of their rights. So we can set it up even on the 10th.
So it would be a status? But I'm saying if I get full with pleas or whatever, you still, I mean, we're taking up the space.
We can do, this will be number 7.
Okay.
It's going to take 5 minutes. It's not a please. It's 5 minutes. You understand?
Okay, so how, I put it as a status, Judge, or how do I put it? Or like a settlement conference still?
No, it's a motion.
I don't know if you have admonishments, Judge.
Admonishment, conflict of interest admonishment. Yeah, that's what it is.
Punishment? An admonishment hearing?
Conflict of interest admonishment.
Oh. Okay.
Conflict of interest admonishment.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Hernandez, anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you for coming back. Mr. Sedlev, anything else, sir?
Amen.
Thank you. You have a little bit
Y'all
of
have a nice afternoon.
Judge, well, Mr. Hernandez is here, Santiago. I know Mr. Limon's probably gone, but I found the case about the debating.
Just
you guys
go
want
ahead and email it to me, and then I'll respond to it.
Okay.
But I've got consults. Okay.
Okay, I'll email you guys. All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you, man. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Daniel Barber, you're present. On Santibáñez, Mr. Barber. Okay, sir, you're next. 2019-3162, 2019-3173, 2019-3211. 2019-3468 and 3538. Announce on the council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Your Honor, I'm handling one of the cases. It's 2019 0D03538. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay, no worries.
Daniel Barber for Nicholas Santibáñez.
Now, hang on. There's a public defender involved in this case. On the one that you're involved in, Mr. Setliff, is what it says here. Who's the public defender on Mr. Setliff's case, the 3538, Miss Becky? Do we know? Miss Becky, you're mute. Okay. Let's just take care right now.
Yeah, Judge, I don't know. I would need to call Renee and I don't have my numbers here.
Okay, you need to call Renee.
My phone numbers are at my desk.
Your Honor, I just texted him just so you know.
You what?
I actually just texted him, asked him who's on antibiotics.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to proceed. We're not going to proceed on the 3538 case, okay, Mr. Setliff?
Okay, the only thing I would just point out is that it looks like Mr. Barber did file motions in this case, so it may be just a confusion point.
Let's see, Mr. Barber, are you representing him on all the cases?
Your Honor, I filed a motion withdrawal on the 4 cases that was the 319 or 3173, 3468, 3211, 3162. He has not been complying with my terms. I told him you need to talk to me about your PR bond. He never did. And since I was representing him for that short period before I filed the motion of withdrawal, well, I guess I'm still representing him, but he caught 7 new charges, which was, I told him, look, man, if I'm going to be your lawyer, you're not going to catch any more charges and nothing's going to happen. We're going to get you straight. And he failed to comply with those terms, Your Honor.
Okay, sir. And I bet he forgot, he's not paid you either, Mr.
No,
Barber?
no, but I mean, that's okay.
Okay, well, okay, so Mr. Barber, you want out of all the cases then?
Yes, Judge, please.
Okay. So then I guess if Mr. Barber wants out of the cases, I'll just see, hopefully, Mr. Santibanez has been in jail since 1/4/20. So I'm sure he qualifies for a court-appointed attorney, Miss Becky, and we'll just put public defense.
And that's what I was looking at, Judge, to see if the public defender was the ones withdrawn when Mr. Barber was retained. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to check.
Mr. Barber, have you filed your motions to withdraw yet?
Yes, Judge, I have.
Very well. And have you submit the orders to Miss Becky so I can sign them? I'm going to go ahead and allow you to withdraw.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will do so soon.
Today. Do that today, please.
Yes,
There's
I'll do it today.
out because I want to appoint somebody because I want to move the case. So just make sure
I'll
you
do
do
it.
it. Mr. Barber, thank you very much. You may be excused.
Thank you, Judge. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Oh, okay, Judge. So if the public defender wasn't on any of the other cases and they're appointed on the last one, I'll appoint them on all the other cases and then set it up again, okay?
You want to see who was representing him on the last one, Miss Becky? And see if they can get on right now or
Your
not?
Honor, I just did that. It's Mr. Castañon. He should be logging on shortly.
Okay. Let's wait. Let's wait to see if he logs on so we can take care of that. And Mr. Artemio, what happened with Daniel Rodriguez? With Ms. Guerra, you're on.
Yes, Judge, I'm here.
Did you send him the link to, he's been absconded. I know he's absconded, but.
Mom said that he did come back yesterday, but he did go to work with the neighbor. And since the hearing was at 4, scheduled at 4, that's when she asked for him to be returned home so that he could be present for the hearing.
And where did he go? Do we know?
I didn't ask her, Judge. I'm sorry. I just said, okay, the court wants us on, so.
Right now it's 3:04, call her, because I don't want her to look like she's a snitch in front of him.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't that make sense? Call her up and get all the information.
Okay.
I want to know that before, please. And then get back on and let me know. You don't have to leave the meeting. Stay on the meeting, but just mute and then let me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Guerra. Thank you so much. Okay, we're back waiting for Mr. Castañon. He's not.
And Your Honor, we have the time now. If you notice, I guess in the beginning, in the morning, my video was kind of sketchy, and so I turned off the video. So I guess from now on, I guess I'll turn on the video, and I guess I'll wait for you to tell me to turn it off that way, because I don't want to be showing up without the camera on.
Right, right. You know what you need to do too? You need to get a Wi-Fi extender.
Well, Judge, if you recall, it's the fact that I'm using the cell phone hotspot, and it's not Spectrum, AT&T, or any of that. The lines haven't been dropped yet. They've actually sent us the actual hardware with I guess the main power switch hasn't been laid down yet for us. So they've been giving us the runaround, and they did say Friday, but so.
Where do you live? Where do you live, Mr. Nunes? Well, don't. We're on YouTube.
Oh.
No, never mind. Never mind. We have to forget. We have to remember. We're waiting for one more, Mr. Castañon. Maybe we ought to get off of YouTube Live because all we have is Mr. Castañon that may or may not show up. Let's go ahead. I'm going to get off of YouTube. Everybody be safe. I'm going to stop the recording. Everybody be safe out there.